Last we spoke with Dr. Fahner, he shared his journey with one of the first pediatric hospice programs. Since then, North Star has formed additional partnerships, including one with Beads of Courage. Take a look. So, the last time you and I spoke, you shared with me that Hospice of Michigan was the first one that said yes. And they said yes to founding the first pediatric hospice. Now, since then, we have so many partners, and one of them being Beads of Courage.
I'm so full of admiration and gratitude to that organization because, as we've talked about before, critically ill and injured children, that's a difficult topic for anyone. But for those children for whom cure is not possible and they make a transition to end-of-life care and require hospice care, that's something that is just so heartbreaking. It's just so overwhelmingly difficult for most people to get their arms around. As much as they would like to be part of that story, as much as they would like to help, it's just too overwhelming. And so for Beads of Courage to open up a whole new opportunity for a community and for people to come together and in a way express their encouragement and their support for those brave children and families is going to be a very special gift.
Yeah. So, for families that have never been down this journey, can you explain why Beads of Courage is so important and such a special program?
I think that's a great question because the hospice experience, even with our incredible dedicated pediatric team that's available and all of the strengths of the North Star community that we have available to provide to those families, it's still a very isolating experience. Those families, even with that support, can feel very alone. They are now entering a new chapter of end-of-life care, and some of the resources, some of the support systems that have been in place for them earlier in that child's journey are not available for them anymore. It's just too difficult. It's just too heartbreaking for those folks. And so for the community to reach out in a tangible way, in a visible way, to say, we still care about you, we are still thinking about you, we have you in our hearts and in our lives each and every day, and we're expressing this through what's really a badge of honor in this Beads of Courage program that is going to be very special for our families.
You said to me once, there's so much more to be done. When we think about the North Star bead, the North Star Care bead, how is that bead, that one little bead, how is that helping patients and families and caregivers?
Well, the Beads of Courage program in our children's hospitals are such a visible representation of that child's journey. And regardless of the outcome, these really are the badge of honor of what a young child has gone through. There's a bead that represents every course of chemotherapy, every stay in the hospital, every visit to the emergency room, every spinal tap, every bone marrow test. And we literally have children who have ropes and ropes of beads that are, it's just heartwarming to see that is a representation of their journey. It is such a point of pride for them to say, this is what I've been through. But now to make that really extraordinary transition to say there are also children for whom cure will not be possible. And what's the next stage of that journey? What is the next step? Where do those families and children go next? They still need all of that care. They need all of our compassion. They need all of our expertise in providing the best possible care and symptom management that those children can receive. And so why shouldn't there be a new bead to represent that new phase of their journey?
You know, I think as a parent, whether you've been down this journey with your child or not, you always want the best for your kids. And when you see your kids smile, that's the world, right? So when you think about children who are carrying these beads and they see other kids going through the same thing and they're also carrying beads, talk to me about that connection, because it's a connection of a bead that really is so instrumental in connecting kids, connecting parents, and connecting caregivers.
It's exactly right. It is a very powerful connection because it is a journey that is hard to express and hard to explain. From another patient or family to another who, it's a very unique journey. It's a uniquely daunting journey for a child and family to be on. And so quite naturally in our clinic and in the hospital, those families find each other. They naturally exchange those stories and those experiences, and they receive an incredible amount of strength and comfort from a family member that's going through that same journey, because there's so much that can remain unspoken. You don't have to restate the obvious of what that journey has meant and what those long hospital stays have entailed and what those endless days in clinic and overwhelming treatments have meant in the lives of their child. That's a given. That's the start. And so from there, we build the support and the encouragement and the inspiration that really gets those families through.
Yeah, we all know that oftentimes it's the little things that are the big things. And so, being a caregiver yourself, being a physician, ever since the beginning of pediatric hospice to now seeing a program like Beads of Courage, talk to me what it means to you to see this collaboration of North Star Care Community and Beads of Courage.
What the Beads of Courage program really says is that we're noticed, we're supported, and we're encouraged, and that means a lot. If you are in your day-to-day work and you are intensely in that situation of caring for critically ill, terminally ill children and their families through hospice care, that in and of itself it's all encompassing. It's very isolating, and to kind of break through that, to be reminded that there's an entire community of individuals across the state, across the region, across the nation who are saying, we understand what you're going through. We can't be there shoulder to shoulder with you to care for those children, but we're going to do the next best thing. We're going to be there in spirit, in heart, in encouragement, to make sure that you know that we care about the children and we care about your work.
Just another step closer to proving that we are all connected.
Very much so.
Dr. Fahner.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan.